So I thought that I would do something a little different than I've done before for basically anything. I haven't done reviews of games in a long time. Um, but Halo is special. I think that anyone who has followed me for any period of time or for a long time now knows how I feel about Halo. They know how much affection I have for the series, despite the fact that I have occasionally been critical of it. Certainly not the most critical of it, as some people have been much more critical of it. Um, but it's something I care about deeply, and it's something that I kind of have studied almost academically, and from a business point of view and a game development point of view. And this game is coming as a sort of culmination of a long time of attempts by Xbox and 343 to mend broken bridges, to, reestablish a connection with the community. And, it coincides with Xbox as a company kind of rebuilding their image after a long time of being seen as someone who doesn't care, as a bunch of suits, as a pretty disappointing also ran in console gaming. And that's something that started even before the Xbox One. And that's something that I'm sort of writing something about and feel like maybe I'll hash out somewhere else. But the point is that Halo Infinite has been a long time coming. And it feels especially long because it was delayed a year ago, or a year and a half ago. It was delayed in July of 2020. And, I think that at the time, I definitely, and I think what most people felt, that it was probably the right move for Halo, that it was the right thing to do, that they clearly needed the time, that it spoke to a change in priorities at Microsoft, that Halo could get that time, because previously Halo was a game that had to release on a specific cadence for business reasons. And there's certainly never been a gap like this for a Halo game before. It's been more than 6 years since the last proper Halo game, and we're not counting the Master Chief Collection DLC in this, obviously. So this is special, and I have the game. You can kind of see it behind me. That's the title screen for the game, the full game. It's the review code I was given by Microsoft, by Xbox. So, full disclosure there. But I just kind of wanted to get my thoughts down a little bit before I play it, because I think it's worth documenting in some way, even if I never publish this, and who knows if I will, because, who the fuck am I? But I kind of wanted to document where I'm at with it before I play this campaign, what I'm hoping for from it, the expectations I have or don't have for it, and just for starters, like, I am a believer that the way that I will feel about any sequel to a game that I loved cannot ever really adequately channel the way I felt about that original thing, because I'm not the same person that I was when I played those games before, and that that includes Halo. Like, I'm not the person I was when I played Halo Combat Evolved. It's been 20 years. Like, holy shit, it's been 20 years since Halo Combat Evolved, and I don't have a lot of expectations that this game is going to channel the magic of the original Halo Combat Evolved, despite the fact that that is clearly something that they're trying to do, because it's impossible for me to feel exactly the same way I felt about that game, because I'm not that person anymore, Like, that person is in here, but the person on the surface, the person talking to whoever the fuck is watching this, the person that's going to play that soon, is different. But I would like a sense of wonder to come back, and a sense of space. And I think that that's something that the original Halo had, was like the sense of this space to exist and be sort of confused and awed by. And I think The Halo games since the first one have intermittently sort of like found some awe. You know, I think that some of that's there. In some ways, from a technical perspective, they've gotten way better at executing on it as the craft of composing a video game has improved as people stand on the shoulders of giants, you know? That's how these things happen. But I would like to feel some semblance of mystery and awe come back in a way where it doesn't feel like I have a rope tied to my ankle and I'm being dragged through story as quickly as possible, because to stop for any sort of amount of time and actually consider what's happening means production time that they didn't have. And I feel like this is kind of an issue that Halo 4 had. Halo 5 clearly was a game that had just gigantic cuts made to it. They skip all sorts of elaboration that I think would have been really handy, and there are just parts of it that don't seem like they belong at all. And I think on that front, I would like to play this game and not feel like there are vestigial bits of what it could have been there to make me think of what it's not. And that was a big problem with Halo 5. I think Halo 5 was full of things where I saw them and thought, what is this? And more specifically, what was this supposed to be? And I don't want that with this, you know, and like whatever, like sometimes that's just the way the games are. Games are imperfect. Like every piece of art is a thing where the only reason it's finished is because people stopped. There's always more to do, more that could be done. And sometimes there's just not time. Sometimes something is done when you have to stop. So I would like to not feel that way. I would like for the compromise of artistic achievement and execution to not be quite so clear and obvious. And that's being polite. You know, Halo 5 was a fucking mess. And I would like to play a game that doesn't feel like it's a fucking mess. I want to play a game that feels like a complete thought. I want to play a game where the narrative doesn't have to tell me everything, and you know, there can be plot holes, there can be unresolved things. That's fine. But I want to play a game where I feel like there is a story that's told that makes sense without me having to find a bunch of collectibles. And, you know, that might be asking too much. But it's certainly something that the last two Halo games have struggled with. And to be completely honest, Halo 2 and Halo 3 do a lot of hand-wavy bullshit as well. But not to the degree that 4 and 5 do. So, you know, I would like to feel like I'm going through and experiencing a full thought. I would like to be sort of surprised. You know, I want to be surprised by what the game does. I want it to feel familiar but not predictable, and that's a really hard one to navigate, and I don't think that that's necessarily fair, and if I were writing a review, that isn't necessarily something that would cause me to really just kick the shit out of it. But, you know, I'm just talking about what I want going into it and what expectations I have. What do I expect it to be without knowing this other stuff? I expect it to have a very good combat loop. I think that much is clear from the multiplayer I played, of which I've played about 45 hours, which is ridiculous. I played 100 games of Halo multiplayer, not including the betas. So I have a pretty good idea of what it plays like, at least from a moment-to-moment point of view. And I want to be presented with opportunities to use a tool set that honestly, for the first time in a Halo game for a long time, feels complete. I think that every Halo game since 1 has added stuff that hasn't necessarily worked super well. Like, you know, Halo 2 introduced vehicle jacking, and that has always felt great. It also added dual wielding, which has always been fucking stupid, in my opinion. It's been totally useless, except as a novelty. Halo 3 added equipment, which I thought was largely fucking useless, and also caused them to remap their controls in a strange way. Spartan abilities were hit and miss. Some of them felt pretty useless, some of them didn't. Halo 4, you know, in some ways felt streamlined, but it had sprinting and that's great. But I just felt like Halo 4 didn't try to reinvent the wheel very much. And Halo 5, I thought mostly played fine, but it just didn't really feel like it had time to expand into the sort of vocabulary maybe it wanted to build. And so I want an opportunity to explore what this game is doing. I want to have a chance to play with it and really experiment and feel like a sense of mastery over the tool set in front of me, beyond just melee grenades and guns. You know, that Holy Trinity has been great every Halo game, and that's fine, but that's not enough for the game to stand on, and I think that they know that, and they've said that, and I want it proven to me. So that's where I'm at with that. And I don't know, I just... You know, it's funny, I started by saying that I'm a different person, you know, than I was when Halo Combat Evolved came out, and that I know that this game can't have the same sense of wonder and discovery that the original game had. It's not, for me, it's not possible, because I'm not a kid playing this game now. I am theoretically an adult, that you wouldn't know it by looking around my apartment. But that said, fuck, if they could do that, that would be amazing. I would be really excited about that. That would make it something that no game has pulled off for me this year, or really even last year. Like, I've been depressed by games, I've been excited by games, I've felt thrilled by games, sure, but I haven't really felt that sense of wonder in a game in a really long time. Certainly not that I can think of. And so, you know, if this could pull that off, that'd be fantastic. But that is asking an awful lot. So we'll see what happens. But I think that this will probably, if I do anything this, it'll probably go up before the embargo for this hits. And I think that I'll probably do like a diary style thing where I record my reactions to the chunks of the game as I play them. Just so that I can take people on this little journey with me, and then maybe I'll live stream it eventually when it comes out or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's where I'm at with this right now. That's how I'm feeling before I go into this review or this game or whatever the hell I want to call it. And I felt that maybe as a sense of novelty, I could do it. I could do this. I could open up like this for this game, because the other thing that occurs to me with this is that it feels like both a culmination, but it also feels like arriving. And I don't know what kind of destination I'm at with it. But I don't know how much more this could happen. You know, I don't know how much more it will happen. There are some things in your life where you realize that this is it. This is the last time for this thing. And sometimes that can allow you to really be in the moment and enjoy it, and sometimes it makes it hard to enjoy. Hopefully this is more the former than the latter. But I do feel a sort of creeping bit of finality to at least a part of the experience. And so I thought I would do this, that I would share a little bit about this stuff and in this way. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with Halo Infinite before I played the campaign at all. I haven't touched the campaign. I have not played any of it. I didn't play any of the preview build. I've avoided all of the campaign footage with the exception of like a little bit of gameplay in a spot that didn't give anything away. I have been vehemently avoiding everybody else's coverage of it and discussion of the game itself, as opposed to just like their feelings about it. And trying not to build up my expectations too much, because I want to just go into it and take it in as it is and let my emotions be what they are. So that's where I'm at. That's where I am at with Halo Infinite 10 minutes or so before I start playing the campaign for the first time. This is a complete build as far as I know. This is the review build. Everything is in there. You shouldn't be seeing me play it online. I don't think it'll show up that way if you follow me on Xbox or whatever. But yeah, this is happening. It is November 29th at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. That is when I'm talking about this stuff. So I am going to sit on my couch in front of my OLED and play in Dolby Vision and Atmos and hopefully just get lost in it for a little bit. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be nice in 2021 to get lost in something in a positive way? But that's it. That's what I got for now. Feel free to stay tuned for more. Feel free to watch me stream the game once the embargo is up. I'm sure that I will. There are lots of collectibles, lots of shit in the game to find, and I doubt that I'm going to find them all in this playthrough. So, yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Thanks for watching.